Hey Pax, this is Picard. I'm here with my next episode, or maybe the first episode of the Q Source series that I want to produce this year. Today, we're talking about disruption. And the great thing about that is we're already talking about disruption this time of year because we're usually getting into our goal setting, start of the new year, looking at the, fresh start. What do we want to disrupt? So perfect timing. Here we are, Q Source F1. So the main statement for the disturbance is a disruption is a disturbance to the status quo. So every chapter in Q Source has 3 Socratics that it tries to answer. And so I'm just going to quickly review those, give a quick overview, and then I'm going to give my take on some of this and how I think it kind of applies to us, at least applies to me this time of year. So the first question that the chapter asks is, what do leaders do? And the reading likes to point out how you're not leading unless you're influencing movement towards advantage. A lot of us suffer from inertia. If the whole physics term, inertia is a object in motion will stay in motion, or an object in rest will stay at rest, and if not for an outside force. So you need something that's going to knock you loose from whatever inertia you're locked into. So I think that can apply to leading a group. You can influence movement to a group or with a team or in an organization, and you can also do it for yourself. The next question is, what effect does leadership have on the status quo? It disrupts. It causes a disruption. If you're not disrupting, you're not influencing movement, then you're not seeking advantage, and you're not doing anything a true leader would do. You're really just trying to protect the status quo, if that's the case. The last one is, what's a common characteristic of leaders who leave a true legacy? The Q source references love a lot in our text. So it's right from the first chapter. It says a great leader's legacy is built on love. And I completely agree. So let me go into a few specifics for me. Usually when you're goal setting, you want to be strategic with how you set that goal or what you want to set your goals for. So a big thing about seeking advantage is choosing what advantage you want to seek, and how do you choose what needs disrupting? I actually use a quality of life assessment periodically, where you can actually look at a wheel, and I can share a version of it in the link here. But the idea is to kind of rate your overall satisfaction in different sections of daily life. That's your relationships, or your your spirituality, your fitness, your career, and a number of different factors. And oftentimes it's good to kind of do that whole top-down view of everything, so you can really see it side by side and say, oh, I actually am pretty strong in my fitness, but I want to work on my career, or I need to improve my friendships, or I realize I'm actually not satisfied with my extended family and the quality of relationships there. And so then you can choose which goal to set, what needs disruption, instead of just continuing to disrupt the same thing when your fitness is good and you don't need to change anything. You just need to keep going. So that's one question. Another question I like to ask is, how do you protect from unwanted disruption, or maybe disruption from others? So you have the involuntary things that happen to you, and so so maybe you've set that goal, and now what's the friction? Because the idea in the chapter is leadership seeks advantage, and you're agitating, you're causing change, and that's going to cause a lot of discomfort for you and others. So setting a goal, you're going to get friction, you're going to get pushback, either from yourself mentally or other factors of your life. So how do you protect that? And so there's a number of things in Q Source that we'll talk about throughout the year. For me, a big one is we call it guardrails. So you want to set those guardrails you're setting new habits and routines in place that protects you from disruption. Like, we just went through a season of disruption with the holidays. Our normal day-to-day is messed up. Our kids are home from school, or taking time off from work, or there's all kinds of holiday parties or shopping, and all of that. It changes our normal day-to-day, and it can be a good thing, but there could be good things that you lose sight of as a result. So setting guardrails, routines, making commitments, and then we can't always hold ourselves accountable. So there's opportunities with your relationships to build up trust and to build up accountability. In QSource and F3, we talk about leveraging the horizontal relationship between men, which is a shield lock. So that's where you would leverage their help to keep you in line with your goals or your commitments, and also to know you and to help you see your blind spots and be there for you to help you along the way. So those are all some tidbits to talk about, to consider when setting goals and how to protect them. So the last part of the QSource here, talking about love. So it's kind of a nebulous thing. There's a lot of different scenarios that come to mind when you hear the word love. Of course, like romantic love and love from parents or things like that. But I think another word for it in this context is compassion. So not leveraging or not allowing shame to be a major component of how you choose things or how you live your life, because shame is that that thinking that you are wrong or you are bad, so like a character flaw kind of thing. With compassion, you can then change that into guilt, like, oh, I made a bad choice, instead of I am bad. And you can say that, oh, I failed, but I can get better. And so that compassion is what helps you move forward in a healthy way. It's that growth mindset. It can help with your relationships too. Oftentimes we get our feelings hurt, whether it's from a leader that leads us, or someone that we're trying to lead and they're rejecting, or they're not getting it, whatever. And it's easy to jump to conclusions and it, it feels like they're attacking you, or they don't care, or things like that. But oftentimes, if you look at it with a lens of love, you can see where maybe they're just focused in other ways, or they may just see it differently, and you don't have to take it so personally. So there's a lot there. I could talk for a lot longer, and so if you are interested, I'm looking to partner up with people, setting up a coaching relationship. I want to help you if you're considering goals that you want to set, things that you want to accomplish in 2024, or things that you're struggling with and you need accountability, or you need that partnership to consider which ways to go about using that self-compassion and setting those guardrails for yourself. Let me know. I have my contact info. You'll see me in the gloom, and I'll see you next week with Foundation Part 2 in the QSource.